This is Miss Sebastian, and today we're going to look at ratios and proportions for Study Island. A new club sent out 245 coupons to boost sales for next year's memberships. They provided 6 times as many to potential members than to existing members. How many coupons did they send out to existing members? Okay, so what they did, they said 6 times as many to potential members. And just X would be existing. So we're looking for the existing members. So how many total did they send out? 6 times as many as existing. So we had 6X plus 1X, or existing. If they sent out 10 to existing, they would have sent out 60 to potential. So 10 and 60 would make 70. So 7 times whatever that X is. Okay, so I'm going to put 7 times X equals 245. If you want to set this up as a proportion, you can. X over 7. Sorry, not X over 7. 1 over 7 equals X over 245. Same thing. Okay, if you cross multiply, you do get 7X equals 245. So exactly what we have right here. So to solve, you're just going to divide both sides by 7. 7 divided by 7 gives us 1. And we just have X left. 7 goes into 24 3 times with 3 left over. 7 goes into 35 5 times. So existing members, they sent 35. Mr. Wells runs a telecommunications company. While going through the company's project records, he found that there are 8 engineers under every team leader and 5 project managers for every 50 engineers. Mr. Wells currently employs 15 team leaders. How many project managers were employed by Mr. Wells? Okay, so there are 8 engineers for every 1 team leader. Okay, if we know that he has 15 team leaders, how many engineers would he have? So to find this, we're going to cross multiply. 8 times 15 is 120. And 1 times question mark is this question mark. So he had 120 engineers. Now, we have 5 project managers for every 50 engineers. Well, we know that there are 120 engineers. We need to know how many project managers. If there are 50 engineers for every 5 project managers. Notice that I put project managers both on the bottom there, or you could have put them on the top. All we want to know is we're going to multiply across. 120 times 5 is 600. And then 50 times question mark is 50 question mark. We're going to divide both sides by 50. 50 goes into 61 times. With 10 left over, 50 goes into 100 2 times. So they employ 12 project managers. A paper company produces 4,175 notebooks in 5 days. many notebooks can it produce in 13 days? So you always want to put the days on the bottom, if they're on the bottom on the left, but we want to know how many notebooks they can produce here. So we're going to cross multiply. 4,175 times 13 equals 5 times question mark. So 4,175 times 13 gives me 54,275. And I'm going to divide both sides by 5 to get that question mark by itself. 5 goes into 5 one time. 5 goes into 4 0 times. With 4 left over, 5 goes into 42. 8 times with 2 left over. 5 goes into 27. 5 times with 2 left over. 5 goes into 25. 5 times. So your answer is 10,855. Okay, Ivan is an artist. He creates one sculpture for every 6 paintings. If he creates 42 paintings, how many sculptures did he create? So we're going to cross multiply. 42 times 1 equals 6 times question mark. 42 times 1 is 42. We're going to divide both sides by 6. And we do get 7. Eric and Charles are on their high school track and field team. Eric is participating in hurdles and the javelin. For every 5 hours that Eric spends practicing hurdles, he practices the javelin for 5.5 hours. Okay, Charles is participating in a relay race and the javelin. For every 5 hours that Charles spends practicing the relay race, he practices the javelin for 15 hours. So 5 hours for hurdles, for 1.5 hours for the javelin. Okay, and Charles is 5 hours for the relay race and 2.5 hours for the javelin. Okay, if Eric practiced hurdles for 15 hours last week, okay, and Eric and Charles practiced javelin for the same amount of time, how much time did Charles practice for the relay race? So 15 hours for hurdles for Eric, okay, is how much time with the javelin? So we've got to start there. So we have 5 and 1.5. Okay, so we're going to cross multiply. 15 times 1.5 equals 5 times our question mark. So 15 times 1.5 is 22.5. Okay, and we're going to divide both sides by 5. 5 goes into 20 4 times with 2 left over. 5 goes into 25 5 times. So he spent 4.5 hours on the javelin. Now, it tells us that Eric and Charles practiced the javelin for the same amount of time. So we know that Charles spent 4.5 hours on the javelin, and we need to know how many hours he was there for the relay race. So he started with 5, 2.5. Okay, so we're going to cross multiply. 4.5 times 5 equals 2.5 times question mark. So we've got 22.5 equals 2.5 times something. So we divide both sides by 2.5. Okay. No, 2.5 and 2.5 is 5. So that would be 10. That would mean that it could go in 9 times. So Charles spent 9 hours practicing the relay race.